Meet Bob. Bob has to use the boys' room. He walks quietly down the hall. As Bob enters the boys' room, he sees the urinals. He notices how clean and shiny they are. The janitors sure do a good job, Bob thinks. Bob admires the smooth porcelain and the shiny chrome. Then steps back and enjoys the fresh scent of the urinal cake. Sure smells good. Bob likes using the urinal because it's quick and easy. All done. Don't forget to wash your hands. Good boy, Bob. This looks like the beginning of a beautiful relationship.
You must abide by the etiquette of the urinals to show that you have some respect for fellow man.
I think it's some age-old tradition. You just follow them.
I think it's just conditioned in them. It's just a natural thing not to stand next to each other or peek.
Men have the rules of the urinal, so they don't have to see each other's schlong.
Of course, where I'm from, we call them urinals. But urinal etiquette is very closely tied to the theory of proxemics. A good reference for this is Edward T. Hall's The Hidden Dimension. Talks all about proxemics and the relationship of proxemics to intimacy. So tapping somebody on the shoulder, tapping somebody on the arm is relatively allowable between people who aren't intimate. But certain other parts of the body, the breasts, the buttocks, the genital areas, these obviously can be touched only in intimate relationships.
So my best friend Vince, right? He's in the airport at Newark, which is not the best place to be anyway, and he's in the bathroom in the international arrivals terminal, and there was no one in there. It was a slow time of the day, and he was using the urinal, and a short white guy came in. He didn't look, because you don't look in urinals. It's sort of a rule, but he didn't really look at the guy. But out of all the urinals in the line, he picked the one right next to my best friend, which he thought was weird. And what was more, the guy started playing with himself, which alarmed him. So quickly, he did one shake, not two, and ran the hell out of there.
In my opinion, guys would go to the furthest one from where a guy is standing. So if a guy is standing second one in, they would go to the fourth one in, or at least have that one urinal barrier.
I think usually when I urinate, I like that thing to be there between my urinal and the other guy's urinal, so that we're not paranoid about looking at each other's wieners.
When someone stands right next to me at a urinal, I feel uncomfortable because there's always other urinals, and for some strange reason, he picked the one right next to me.
Actually, it's quite interesting if somebody is at the far end and you do stand next to them. That itself is a message, because it says you've chosen to stand there even though there are two stalls empty. And what does that mean?
Well, there's different cases when someone stands next to me by the urinal. If it's all empty and the guy stands next to me, then it's like a challenge. It's like he's trying to be tough. He's like, yo, I'm a bit tougher than you. Yeah, I'm bigger than you.
Man, this water sure is cold, huh?
Come here, tough guy. And, I just think of it as cool, whatever. You got to be tough that way. You can be tough.
Generally, when you're in the urinal, somebody's there, you don't look at that person. Looking at that person suggests intimacy.
Because if you're next to another person and he's urinating and you're urinating, you're usually extremely paranoid about him seeing your wiener and his wiener being seen by you.
So you have to look away, you have to look down. Some people look up at the ceiling, though I'm not quite sure. They're taking a bit of a risk when you do that.
So I usually tend to look at the ceiling that way. So if there's not the thing there separating it, it's like I'm looking this way and he's looking that way, so neither one of us is looking there.
And so I walk into the student center and there's these three urinals. There's, right one next to the other, nothing in between or anything, just straight on the wall. And I walk in and I look, and there's a guy standing, blocking all three. He's sitting at the middle urinal, taking a leak, and he's like, his legs are spread out, so he can't, I couldn't use the bathroom. So I had to piss in the sink.
A couple of my friends went to a club, and after a while they've been clubbing, they've been drinking, they've been dancing and all that. my friend decides to go to the bathroom. He walks up to a urinal, he starts doing his business or whatever, and before you know it, this girl walks up right behind him. It's a club, I guess girls are allowed to just go wherever they want to. And she rears up and just kicks him right in between the legs, like just boots the hell out of him. And as he's like falling down to the ground and looking back, she goes, "Oh, sorry, wrong person."
I was in about 7th grade, and I need to relieve myself, so I walk into the bathroom and see this guy, pants down, dropping a deuce in the urinal. I was caught off guard because you don't usually see that, but he quickly pulled up his pants and kind of looked at me kind of funny and walked out of the bathroom. Needless to say, I looked at him in different ways since then.
Well, some guys have that disorder, where you really can't go when you're next to other guys. So if everybody plays it cool when they go in the bathroom and they have to use a urinal as opposed to a regular stall, I think it just makes it easier for all parties involved.
Well, shy bladder, of course. Yeah, I mean, that's all connected with what we've been talking about today, especially with this idea of proximity and intimacy. But a common problem is that people fail to get a good flow going if they're stood next to somebody at the next stall, regardless if they're talking or looking or anything.
I don't know, sometimes you can get stage fright, but mostly it's like invading my personal bubble.
See, I don't have that disorder thing, but I just get a bit nervous, I'll admit, It's drama. That's what it is. It's drama.
Nervousness, embarrassment, shyness, and this will cause the bladder to, that urethra to lock. And you're standing there, and and it becomes a reflexive cycle because now you're embarrassed, you're feeling awkward, and you're standing there with your peter hanging out, and nothing's happening.
So every time, just about every single time I go into the bathroom, any public toilet, doesn't matter where the hell I am, just doesn't want to happen. I get into the urinal, and it's like, let's see, I'm gonna unzip, I'm gonna pull it out, and just sit there, and it's, no, minute can go by, people come and go. I'm just standing there. Now I feel like an ass.
So now you're feeling awkward because you're standing there holding your peter, and this guy stood there, and he's looking over, and you think, is this guy peeing, or is he like having a good time, And you get this circle of anxiety. The more anxious you get, the less you can pee. The less you can pee, the more anxious you get, and you're stood there next to a guy holding your willy.
Apparently there was a study at Georgetown University, and at the Georgetown, Michigan, I don't know, that if you do simple multiplication in your head while you pee, that it kind of it like takes away that stage fright that guys get.
People have various strategies for this. My own personal strategy is to kind of look at the wall and try and do the 13 times table. And generally I get to 5 times 13, and then it kind of breaks down that anxiety, and then the urine will flow.
Usually what I'll do is I'll break into this soul coughing song, and the song is called 4 to 5, and it's just he's going on for like the whole song about like this simple math, and he's like 4 and 5 therefore 9, 9 and 9 therefore 18, 18 and 18 therefore 36, 4 and 5 therefore 9. Although it's not multiplication, but it works. It gets my mind off of like the guy next to me and the other guy next to me and whatever else, and I just kind of get into that mindset. But it's terrible. It's really something I struggle with probably every single time I go to a public bathroom.
4 and 5, therefore 9, 9 and 9, therefore 18, 18 and 18, therefore 36, 4 and 5, therefore 9.
I can't find no foundations. There ain't no truth